Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Avery, but I go by Soavecito, and I'm a horror content creator. Welcome to episode 42 of Whispers of Horror, and we're going to talk about this beautiful game called Huntsman, and we have the developer and Jory. How are you today?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm very excited actually talk about this game. I found this game. I think when it when did it actually come out? Like February of last year, or I can't remember.
January.
January. Yeah, I saw my friend played it on TikTok, and I was like, "Oh, dope! There's not enough spider games," and I was like, "I haven't played one ever," so I said, "Let me try it out." Then I realized what a mistake playing that game was, because honestly, it was truly terrifying. But so I'm happy to have you on this, and we're gonna talk more about Huntsman. Before we do that, I want to kind of delve deep into just who you are and like how you got into gaming and stuff, just game development. So let's start off with that. So do you want to just talk a little bit about yourself, and then so to
Yeah,
let our
sure.
viewers know?
Yeah. So my name is Jory. I am a game developer and the creator of Huntsman. I kind of got into game develop. It was something I always wanted to do. But then when COVID came around, it kind of gave me the time to really teach myself it. Um, so that's kind of where that started. And then for the past 4 or 5 years, I've just been kind of developing small games. This was another one of those, meant to just be a very small game. I didn't think many people would see, but here we are.
All right, awesome, awesome. Um, when it comes to just the game development, like is Huntsman your first game, or have you made other games previously?
I have made kind of, I made one other game that wasn't like really a full game. It was just more of like one playable level.
Mm-hmm.
That game is called Solace. It's an RPG that is also available on itch. But yeah, that's really the only other game I've completed. I do have a couple other projects that are in the works, but yeah, none that are currently playable.
Okay, cool, cool. When it comes to like when you aren't working on game development, what are some of your interests outside of that? Do you play games? Like, what are some of your hobbies?
Yeah, so I really like biking.
Okay.
I like to go on bike rides during the summer. I do play a lot of video games as well. I play a lot of Final Fantasy 14 for any fans out there of that. Um, and yeah, I mean that's really kind of how my day goes. I work, either go outside or play some video games, and then I develop some. Um, yeah.
Nice. How do you find a balance between like your personal life versus finding time to work on your craft and making video games?
Um, it definitely does take a balance. Like I like to kind of go in bursts. I kind of get in the mood to just work on this for like a week straight, and then I'll take a couple days off and just play video games and just relax. Yeah, so I mean, I do have, luckily, I have enough time to be able to do this and everything,
Mm-hmm.
which is great. Um, yeah, so, I just like to put in a couple hours, at least a couple hours, a day, if not a day, then, at least every other day, just to keep the momentum going, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's so easy to fall into this trap where you're going to say, "Oh, I'll get back to it," or I'll work on it later. But sometimes you really just gotta sacrifice some of that free time and get it done.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. Like, I kind of told you off stream, like, for me, just trying to balance, like, being a dad, have work full time and trying to get this together as to making content is very hard and trying to juggle that life and something's going to be missing, you know? But
Yeah,
finding time when you actually realize that there's not a lot of time in the day when you're being pulled from different sources. So I totally, totally,
yeah.
totally get it. Let me ask you. So what made you come up with Huntsman? Like what what was the idea behind it? Like what was your inspiration? Like why Huntsman?
So a couple things. First, I love horror, the horror genre, whether it's movies or games. Um, definitely one of my favorites. And then I also have a crippling fear of spiders.
Okay.
And it was around October, actually. I remember when I was thinking about this game because I wanted to make something for the Halloween season. And it came out in January, so obviously I didn't accomplish that. But I thought, what better game to make than something that I can project my fears to other people. Um, so this game is really my way of showing why I'm afraid of spiders.
Did you have an
Yeah,
experience? Let me ask you. Did you have an experience of like a spider? Like what exactly about spiders make you have that phobia? Did you have an experience of like a spider that caught you one day, or if you want to divulge that?
yeah, no, definitely. I never had an experience like that triggered this crippling fear. I've always just been freaked out by them. I also think the movie Arachnophobia really enhanced that fear. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie or not, but
No, I
um,
have seen the movie Eight-Legged Freaks. Have you seen that?
okay.
Yeah, so that's the
Yes, I
first
have seen that
movie
movie.
that this game got my thought. Like that's the first thing that came to mind when I saw the spider. I was like Eight-Legged Freaks, and like
Yeah, yeah.
it's, like even this game still gets me. But yeah, no.
Yeah.
So if you don't mind continuing, sorry.
No, totally, it's fine. Yeah, so no experiences or anything like that. Um, yeah, there's just something about them, the way they move, the way they look, how many legs they have, their unpredictability, how fast they are. Just everything about them just freaks me out, you know?
Okay.
I can hold snakes, but I cannot hold a spider. Um,
Alright.
yeah, I never had any kind of traumatizing experience or anything. It's just something that really never been able to get over the fear of.
Okay. Um, one of the biggest questions I want to ask about like the spider alone, like what, how did you get it to be able to stalk you, and like basically, did you have to use AI to be able to control where the spider goes? Like, how did you make it come out to where the spider is actually stalking you at a certain point? Like, what is the process of doing that?
So this was all done in blueprint scripting. I
Okay.
didn't really use any AI. So it's really all kind of hard coded in there.
Okay.
So the spider has like this perception system where I can adjust how it sees, how it hears, how it feels.
Okay.
And from there, it's kind of all situational logic. So, if you've seen the player, start stalking them. If they run while you're start stalking, chase them. Um, so no, there wasn't any AI
Yeah.
used for that.
Yeah. Sorry if I was.
It's
I
really
wasn't.
all.
Sorry. I don't. I wasn't trying to assume that. I was just curious if that was one of the tools that you
Yeah,
did use for that. Just wanted to make
yeah,
sure
no,
that.
a totally valid question.
Yeah.
I mean, I probably, it would have helped if I did use it.
Okay.
Um, but no, yeah, it's all kind of just static, just hard coded in there. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. How long did it take you to make this game and like Huntsman?
So it took me. So I began it at the beginning of October. So it took me about 4 months.
Okay, 4 months. Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
I
four
do
months.
apologize. So like I am playing it and then playing it with no sound. I think is no sounds playing. Um, the spider, like the jump scares just from it just running out of nowhere is one of the most scariest experience I've ever had playing video games. So I gotta give it up to you because not a lot of games are able to replicate like a jump scare in a good manner like that. So like I guess I'm terrified of big giant spiders that I didn't know.
Yeah,
But I just
yeah,
want to give
yeah,
you kudos because I know this game. I've seen a lot of people play it on TikTok, which is kind of coming into my next question. when you made this game and then you start to see like it's getting a lot of buzz, like how does that make you feel when people are experiencing it and it's going viral on different platforms?
Oh, incredible. Like I said, I really didn't think anybody would ever see that because, that's pretty typical when you make a game, especially at this kind of level. It's more than likely you're going to put it out there and only a couple people play it. But yeah, I mean, I just kind of woke up one day and noticed that my views and everything were skyrocketing. I go on YouTube and TikTok and I'm starting to see it. And it's just such a great feeling. Just to see people enjoy something you made, put, hard work into. It's also, it's really nerve-wracking, like starting every single YouTube playthrough that I watch,
Hmm.
because I just hope they like it, right? Yeah, no, so it really just is this incredible feeling. You're just seeing people enjoy something you made and just knowing, you know, I I did it, right? I did it. I made a game that people enjoy, and that's
Yeah,
really
for
what I
sure.
wanted. Yeah.
When I do have a question. Is in the game, is there just one spider, or is there multiple
There
spider?
is there is just one spider.
Okay.
Um this is something I will be fixing, but I kind of made like a teleporting system for when you haven't seen it in a while.
That's okay.
Um yeah, I took inspiration from that from Alien Isolation. They kind of do the same thing. If you
Sure.
haven't seen the alien in a while, it puts it somewhere near you. And so sometimes it gives a perception that there's multiple spiders. And I was going to come out and say something, but I also feel like it kind of adds to that edge when you don't know how many there are.
100%.
And when in your head you assume that there's multiple, it kind of just, yeah, it just puts you even more on edge. Yeah.
No, for sure. Because like when I first played it, I was like going up the stairs. I was like, okay, I know where that one spider. I was like, damn, there's multiple spiders in this game. Like, and there's
Yeah,
more
yeah.
multiple X-17s. I was like, yo, I can't deal with this right now. And but knowing that, like, it makes it even scarier because you never know where the spider's gonna be at all times. I did want
Yep.
to ask, like, did you ever consider having the spider like crawl on the ceilings or on the side of the wall, like, and just because I
Yes.
thought that would add another element to it. I like the element of just having web and then you're not able to go through it. I think that's cool. But did you
Mhm.
ever consider that type of stuff?
Definitely. And it is something I tried to implement.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea why I just sprinted at you like that without even.
I'm not gonna lie that I might have said some explicit. I might have jumped. You can watch when you check this on YouTube. You're gonna see that. Why did it do that to me? Like, I'm
Yeah,
actually
this thing is
sweating.
just unpredictable, and that adds a lot of the horror to it. But yeah, sorry, back to your question. Yes, it is something I actually wanted in the game.
Mm-hmm.
It is something that was kind of outside of my technical expertise.
Okay.
Um, so it is something that will be in the game. I am working with someone who's going to help me get that into the game, and I think that's really gonna, add so much to it.
Yeah.
It's gonna really bring it to the next level when you see that thing crawling on the ceiling or on the walls towards you. Also, the community just keeps asking about it, and rightfully so. It should be able to do that.
Yeah,
So,
I think it would be
yes,
cool. I mean, if you want some feedback, I think it'd be cool if,
of
like,
course.
you're standing in one spot and the spider's like slowly dangling down from a web. I think that, like,
Yeah.
I just think of like what stuff terrifies me when I see a spider. Like when I'm
Yeah.
walking and I just see a spider like dangling down, then grabbing me,
Hmm.
or like I walk into like I hit a thread and it comes out of nowhere, or I'm getting grabbed from the ceiling, like. I'm
Yeah.
getting goosebumps thinking, giving you ideas how to make this game even scarier, which is
Yeah.
wild
Yeah.
to me. um, but my biggest question I wanted to ask is like, what made you choose the Huntsman spider out of all the other spiders? Like, you could have done Black Widow, you could have done the Trapdoor spider. Why the Huntsman?
The Huntsman, I feel like a lot of people fear it a lot more than something like a Black Widow, right? Because a Black Widow typically just tends to stay pretty reclusive. You got to really try to find them, and they're just really not fast. So the thing about the Huntsman is it's incredibly fast. It just that alone makes it scarier than most other spiders.
Mm-hmm.
They really like to just kind of hang, like, I don't know if you've ever seen videos of huntsman spiders like in Australia, but they're massive.
Yeah.
They're so freaky. So I just thought that was it was either that or a tarantula. Um, and the huntsman I just chose because of its speed, and just its behaviors. Because I do want the sense of a realistic behaving spider. I feel like that is really what tied this game, together and made it. It was one of the biggest horror aspects of it is the fact that the spider does behave in a way that you would expect a spider to.
Okay.
Um, and most other spiders that aren't ground dwellers, you kind of just expect them to be hanging out in their web. So I just thought that would kind of detract from this. But if I had a spider that's known for its speed and not hanging out in webs, and it could be really anywhere at any time, I just felt like that was the perfect fit for the game.
For sure. Is there any updates that you might add more different types of spiders, or like, or are you just still
Yes.
sticking with this? Okay.
No, yeah. So I am. Oh, sorry. Go
No, no,
ahead.
no. Go ahead. Sorry, sorry.
So I am working on a sequel right now.
Okay.
There are gonna be multiple different spider types now, multiple spiders roaming. So yeah, I mean, please look forward to that. But yes, there will definitely be more spider types,
I know
to
you.
make it more interesting.
Yeah, for sure. I know you said something in your in the channel chat of Huntsman of basically like maybe would you guys be interested in like a shooter or anything like that?
Mhm.
Like, what made you have that idea when it came to like the Huntsman spider? I mean, or just the Huntsman
So
game.
yeah, so when I started thinking about what I wanted to do with the sequel,
Mm-hmm.
I thought about how I wanted to have multiple spider types and everything, and I thought maybe it would be better to give the player a way to defend themselves.
Okay.
And I'm really glad I asked the community because they've spoken. They would really like this to not be a shooter. Um, and that's, just a great way to get feedback and, figure out how you want to design the next iteration. Now that I know no one would really like that, it's definitely not going to be a part of the game anymore.
I do like the
So I mean, it
idea.
kind.
Sorry, good. Sorry, I apologize. I keep interrupting you.
No, no, that's totally okay. Yeah, I mean, so there wasn't really anything specific that maybe thought it would be better for the game. I kind of just floated the idea out there to just kind of see how people would react to that idea.
Mm-hmm.
And I got my answer.
What I was gonna say is I do like the idea of having some way to exterminate the spiders. I
Mm,
just don't think it should be a shooter. I just feel like that's a way. It just when it comes to having a weapon with you, it just takes away that fear. If I knew I had an
definitely.
AK, like if I had a assault rifle, I'm I'm not worried about it. Like I check my corners,
Right.
they jump out at me, but knowing that I have to do multiple steps to get the chemicals, and then I gotta blend it and put it into the air vent to actually finally get to the spider. It gives me purpose, and like it makes it so much harder. And knowing that at any point, yes, I know I can finally take out the spider, but I have to do all these steps to get there. And if I don't, I'm a threat. I'm not a
Yep.
threat. I'm prey. The reason, and I think that's what makes this game so amazing. Even though it's super short, that's the concept. You know, like you're prey until you are able to get all these components to be able to exterminate, and then you become the exterminator. Which I love that. I
Yeah.
think that's the best way you did it. It was just like the spider's dead now. Like you with some spray. Like
Yeah.
would you think of like, would you just keep that concept, or would you think about making some different concepts of being able to take out the spiders if there are going to be multiple
No.
ones?
Yeah. So, you know, I at first I was thinking of the whole shooter and everything to make it a little more actiony.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I do think that's not gonna really add to the game and make it better. So I do think I'm gonna keep the whole poison in the vent system.
Okay.
Just make it a lot more intricate, more steps. And yeah, I haven't fully fleshed out that aspect of it, but I do think I'm gonna keep it in that same vein, of being able to exterminate them, but not until really the end. Because yeah, you hit the nail on the head. It makes you feel like you're prey, you're vulnerable the whole time, um, and that's what makes horror horror.
Yeah, 100%. What made so when I know I checked the documents and it says X17 like experiment, like what made you come up with that storyline for why there is a giant mutated eight-legged freak in the Huntsman?
Honestly, not much. That really came at the end. I
Okay.
really just kind of made the whole game, and then I was like, what am I gonna call it? What am I gonna, what's kind of the story here? I mean, to be completely honest with you, I didn't even fully know the story when I released it. Like, a lot of people wonder, are you a security guard? Are you just a scientist? And honestly, I couldn't even tell you that right now. I will be for the next one, but yeah, you're just kind of a person here, and they made giant spiders for whatever reason,
Gotcha.
and yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of stuck. For some reason, I got this security key, and the spider just teleported in front of me. So we're gonna have a conversation while it tries to clip into the door.
Yeah,
um,
yeah, yeah.
I just like again, I gotta give it up to you because even though I'm trying to not get freaked out playing this game, I don't even have the sound. I don't know how I did it, but the game just still I don't know. Like I can't explain it. Like it's one of the scariest simplistic games I've ever played, and I just I love it. I posted about it, um, and I think you deserve all the praise because like something like this is something that people should replicate, and that you don't have to go beyond and doing this crazy stuff. You can have a I'm not saying your game's simple. I'm just saying like the
Yeah,
idea of
no.
like a giant spider who it's just not it's original. Not a lot of people are doing spider games
I
or
know. And
big
that's
things.
surprising, right?
Yeah, and
Um,
go ahead. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
no, I was just gonna say, yeah, that is very surprising, and I don't know if it's because there is such a fear of spiders that they're not really included much in games. But when I was thinking of this, I was like, why are there not many spider games? I know they made an eight-legged freaks game for the PlayStation 2 or
Wait,
1,
did
I think it
they
was.
did? That's actually a thing.
Yes, they did. Yes.
What?
I mean, I don't want to call it horrible, but not the greatest game
I'm
ever.
totally gonna play it after this.
Yeah, you're like in the mall. And they gave you weapons and stuff. But yeah, so that's really the only other. There was also this very old PlayStation 1 Spider game, but you are the spider. It was like a platformer.
hmm
Um, I don't know if you've ever. I think it's just called Spider. And I played that when I was very young as well. I rented it um, from Blockbuster,
hmm
and yeah, that game will always stick to me because I was afraid to even like control the spider, even though I that was my character.
Yeah.
Um,
Shout out to Blockbuster. Not a lot of people know what Blockbuster is, so
I
you a
know,
real
right?
one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Man, talk about man, I remember those days where I would go to with my parents to go get the next game that we just rented out
Hmm.
and return the old
Hmm.
ones. Man, Blockbuster was goaded. Man,
Yeah,
that's
it really
man
was.
showing my age 30, man. Damn. But
And that's also the thing too, is like when you went there, you had to base everything solely on like just the cover art and everything,
yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
especially with movies, there weren't such extensive ways to find what this movie was about.
Game Informer was very helpful, and like that was the best way I was able to get information on games. But they weren't unless you saw somebody do play it on YouTube, you didn't know what to expect from
Yeah.
games. Like and sometimes at Blockbuster, they didn't even have the game cover. They just had Blockbuster cover.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you were taking a
Yep.
big risk and just playing. Oh,
No.
this game
Yeah.
sounds good, so why not try it? But
Yep. Yep.
when it comes to so you said it took 4 months to develop this game, right? About that.
Yep.
So during that
Yes.
process, what were some of the highlights and what were some of the challenges that you had when it came to building Huntsman?
Yeah. So, also just really quick, I do think if you close that door, the spider will leave.
Oh,
Um,
I'm just mesmerized by how terrifying. I don't
yeah.
I
Okay. Okay. Okay.
yeah, just giving the viewers a good look of how this
Awesome. Yeah.
ugly beast.
Um,
I do want to check it out though. I'm gonna try to close it and see what happens. Oh, it does leave.
yeah.
Oh,
It's really. Um,
before
but
you
yeah. So
tell me that, I do want to bring up one point. There was one
okay.
point where the spider was hunting me to the point where it was like literally face to face with me, but didn't attack me, and it was the scariest
Yes.
thing ever because I didn't I felt like I couldn't move, and I felt like if I did move,
Hmm.
I would die. But then for some reason it let me get away, and then I turned the corner and it got me, and I swear to God I might have cried. So I think
Okay.
it might have been a bug. It most likely was a bug.
Yeah.
But the spider was like literally. If you check out my TikTok, you'll be able to see the video. But the spider literally was on top of me. I saw the fangs and it didn't attack me. And I'm telling you, like
Yeah.
I stopped playing the game after that. It just and I don't know, like stuff like that is just it gives me chills.
Yeah,
But
that's something for me to think about because that was a bug. But it really does add to that unpredictability
yeah.
and erratic behavior of it, where like you think, oh, it's letting me get away right now, but then you hear that pitter patter of the footsteps behind you. You realize, no, it's not letting me go
Like when I
anywhere.
turned that
So
corner
that
and you
is,
saw me, like it just sprinted
Mhm.
at me. And I had no idea. Like that's what it
Yeah,
is. The unpredictability of how
yeah,
just spiders are, or just of this game. Like you don't know, and that's what truly makes it scary. But yeah, what are some of
yeah,
the
yeah.
highlights and lowlights, challenges that you experienced when building this?
So one of the biggest challenges I had in I guess you could say that it got the best of me was the wall walking and ceiling. There really isn't just an easy way to get that done in Unreal. And I spent close to a couple weeks just trying to get that to work.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but there's a lot of intricacies that go into it with like IK bones and a lot of math, and there's not really just an easy way to get a navigation system on the walls and then let it just walk. So that was the biggest hurdle that I ended up not being able to implement, which is a little disappointing. But I mean, when it comes to the highlights, there are a lot of systems that I put in that I actually am kind of proud of. There's the teleport system for the spider is really a scalable and optimized way, and it's very easy to just go in there and tell the spider, when the player is here. So I have a whole system that tracks what room you're currently in
Mm-hmm.
and what room you previously were in.
Oh, that's
And so
cool.
depending with yeah, so with those two factors I can tell what direction you're going in or what room you're most likely going to be in next. And I can tell the spider to do things based on that knowledge. Um, so that was, I think one of the highlights to me, because it's something that I'll be able to kind of bring with me to any other project that I work on.
Okay.
Yeah, it was cool to learn how to do that, using data tables and everything to kind of tell the spider what to do. Yeah,
Now,
it was cool.
when it comes to like making the actual model of the spider, like, was that like how did you go about doing that? Like, did you just grab it from like
So
like how does that work?
I did not. So I want to give full credit to the person who made this spider. So their name is GIM on
Okay.
Unreal Marketplace. I did buy this spider, and it's actually funny because you can. There's another game about spiders that uses the same exact model. Um, so it is a little unfortunate in that sense because in a way it is just an asset that anyone can go buy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's an incredible asset that the creator really deserves so much praise for. So the animations and the model all came with that. And then I kind of coded the behavior of the spider and what it does and how it reacts to things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I couldn't talk too much about making the model. But yeah, I do, once again, just want to give credit to them, the creator of it. Um, and maybe we could include a link for them.
Yeah, for sure.
Actually,
Absolutely.
because yeah, I think they really, nailed that, and they deserve recognition for that for sure.
For sure. I
Um,
definitely do that. The spider won't leave me alone, by the way. I can't get out this door. I'm just gonna
yeah,
let it.
it's hungry.
I'm just gonna let it do its just. No way. Then let me just go by. I'll take it. Yeah. Continue. Okay,
Yeah.
got me.
Oh, there it goes. Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. So yeah, unfortunately, I couldn't talk too much on the making of the model and the animations, but I will say is that a big reason why I chose this one is because I watched those animations, and a big thing for me I thought was gonna really make this more of a horror game was that realism with the spider.
Okay.
I think that in today's modern gaming, there are a lot of expectations for realism, um, and I don't always want that, but for this case here, I think that to really tap into people's fears in this game, I needed to make the spider look and act as real as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And this person who made these animations in this model really just killed it. They really nailed it. So I had to have it. Um,
Yeah. No, for sure. Like,
but yeah,
I definitely think how real the spider looks and how quickly it moves and just the behavior, it's top notch. I think the biggest thing of just having it creep towards you and just hunt you is what really makes me sweat, have goosebumps. Like I wish you could see my arm. Like I really wish because like it really makes me feel like I am scared. I'm in
yeah.
I'm in fight or flight. So this is my favorite question to ask. Every
Okay.
viewer, every guest that I have on Whispers of Horror is what is when you hear the word horror, what is your definition of it, or what's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of the word horror? Like, what is your own
Uh,
description of it?
there's so many ways you could answer that, but to me, horror is a situation that I would really never want to be in myself. Um, See, it's a hard question to answer because,
That's why it's my
um,
favorite. Because
yeah,
it's open
yeah.
ended. It's
So,
an open ended one.
right, right. I think there's a lot of psychology to it too, right? That I wouldn't really know, but I just know for me, horror is when like horror for me are real situations. So I can watch horror movies with like monsters and stuff, and I don't really get scared. It is horror, but it doesn't, give me those goosebumps or everything. But when I'm watching a situation that just feels so real and like I just don't know how to explain it.
No, it's okay.
So I think when like in terms of this spider and this giant spider, it's obviously a situation no one would want to be in, but the horror of it is tapping into people's innate fear of why they don't like spiders, right? So it is that erratic movement. It is the unpredictability. It's just the way they move and how they hunt.
The
Um,
sensation of something crawling on you. That's why I don't like. I don't like the
yeah,
sensation of something small crawling on me. So that plays on my fear.
yeah, yeah. And you hear a lot of stories about. Well, I mean, you might not hear a lot of stories, but I've heard stories where people, have seen a spider slowly crawling up them, um, or they're sleeping and they see it kind of coming up their stomach or whatever, and that, that's horrifying to
Yeah.
me.
Or the spiders in
Just
people's
knowing.
ears. Oh my god, I would die.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
would die.
yeah.
Or a spider in people's hair. Oh my god, I would die. I can't. I would cut everything off.
Yeah, seriously. Um, so yeah, I mean, I would say horror's kind of just the emotional and kind of psychological just impact on certain situations that you'd really never want to have to deal with. It's a way for us to kind of explore um I mean, I don't want to use the word situations too much, but yeah, explore situations without actually having to live through them, and explore them comfortably. Um,
No, I think I think your answer's fine. Like this, when I ask, what is your definition of horror? It's like there's no right answer, and that's why I love asking it because I've gotten 42 different there's 42 episodes, and I got 42 different perspectives. Like so,
mm,
for me, I like to tell people like what is my definition of horror. For me, it's when anything an encounter that triggers our fight or flight emotion or just
yeah.
instinct. So I'm telling you, like I'm playing this game and the hairs on my arm are sticking up. I'm having goosebumps. My back is sweaty. Like my eyes are dilated. Like these are the things that means I have two choices. I can either fight for my life or I can
Hmm.
fight or I can run away and try to survive. And um, anything that could trigger that, I believe is true horror. Like that, the fear of the unknown, the unpredictability, and just knowing that at any point my life is at risk, even though it might not be. Like this game, my life, I'm perfectly fine. But the fact that this game has triggered those emotions and those feelings, those instincts, is what horror is, and that's in all different situations.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. And just knowing that you can't really do anything to stop it either is also a huge part of horror to me.
Yeah.
Um, things are just out of your control. You don't know why or what's happening, but there's a giant spider after you, and yeah, you better either run or figure out what you're doing because, you know, I mean, and that's also the thing too is that I feel like this kind of takes away part of that fight or flight because you really can't fight, right?
Yeah.
Only until the end. So, even just stripping away somebody's ability to defend themselves is, horror to me as well.
I so I you sorry, I just had a cool
Yeah.
idea. When it comes to like towards the end with the extermination and everything like that. You know how I love the idea where you had the spider like crump like basically when a spider's dead, like the legs go up, they turn on their back and all that stuff. I
Hmm.
thought it would be so cool because I wasn't sure if the spider was actually dead, if it sprung back up and it actually attacked you one last time. I just stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just it's just like anything that would make you drop your guard,
Yes.
and just like, oh, okay, it's finally dead. Like you're poking something dead with a stick, and then you realize, no, no, it's not dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
final hurrah. It's final, its last breath to be able to come after you, or like I don't know, just stuff
Yeah,
like that.
and it's funny you say that because a lot of the playthroughs that I watch when they get to the end there, they say that same exact thing. They're like, "Oh, it's not really dead," and they're scared to walk up to it. But we know that that's what a spider looks like when it's dead, right?
Yeah.
Um, and it's funny because whenever they finally get the courage to walk up to it and they think there's going to be that final jump scare, but there isn't, and the game does end. I always hear this huge like sigh come out. It's such a relief. Like, oh my god, it was actually dead.
100%. I'm not gonna lie. I was one of those people that had that big sigh because like I didn't want to deal with that. I didn't like. I thought I
Yeah,
finally
yeah,
beat the
yeah.
game. I thought didn't. The spider I don't know what it is about the spider today, but it's really up. Like it has a vendetta against me because every time I spawn, it's like right there. But no, like when I finally beat the game, I was so like my guard was down and I was like, I don't know if this is actually dead, and I wouldn't be mad at the developer if they had one final jump scare to finally get something, get me. But
Yeah.
what made you do the setting in like a laboratory and like have um that area like I know you kind of said it was like in your description it was like kind of Resident Evil inspired like laboratory like is there a reason why you chose that to put the area or put the spider in?
I just really think it setting it up so I took huge inspiration in the way that Resident Evil sets up their levels, and I think it just has such great pacing and allows you it allows you to explore the level, and then when you find something that you knew you saw, like a key item, a key that has a heart shape, and then there's a heart shaped door, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I love that feeling of going, oh, I can go back there and open that door finally. Um, so there wasn't really anything like lore wise that made me put it in this kind of area and set it up that way. It was more just kind of how I wanted the game to progress and how people kind of just interact with the environment itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, is there what is have you gotten scared of your own game? Like, have you played it and then
Yes.
got okay? I think
Yeah,
that's
there's
cool.
so many times where yeah, you know, I like that's kind of when I knew I had something a little bit is
Uh-huh.
I was play testing it one day, just trying to fix bugs and stuff, and the spider just sprinted to me from like around the corner. I had no idea it was even there, and I screamed. Um, I was like, "Oh my god! I should have known this was coming, right? Like this is my own game." And yeah, I honestly, there's a part of me that hates when there's a bug I need to fix in playtest because I don't want to play the game.
No, I
Um,
feel you. I don't I like
yeah.
I'm doing the interview and I don't want to play the game, but I want people to see like that I am truly terrified while playing this game. Like it's not even a question if and or buts. Like this is why me having this conversation is so much harder just because I am trying to focus on it, but the spider's up my ass and I don't know what to do about it. You know, every
Yeah,
second I
yeah,
turn.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, no, for sure. Like I really do love this game for what it's portraying, but like I know you're saying you're making a second one. Like, is there something like can you talk a little bit more about like what to expect from the second game and like what people should look forward to?
Yeah, so, you know, I would I would say, you know, expect more of a intricate, I don't want to just say larger level, right? But I do want to make it, you know, more content, more things to do within the level. I want to give it a longer play time, and I want to add more different spider types to really kind of add variety to the game. Um, I don't, you know, it's not going to be a super long game or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Probably just about 4 to 5 hours as opposed to the hour that it takes now. Um, but yeah, I mean, you know, look forward to even more creepy moments with the spider. You know, I'm gonna get it crawling on the walls and the ceiling. I'm thinking of just different
Mm-mm.
scenarios that would be terrifying with a spider. So yeah, I mean, really, just look forward to just a bigger and better Huntsman game.
Yeah, for sure. I think I don't know. I hope it's okay that I keep coming up with ideas and throwing them at you, um, and all that. But I just had another idea. Like I could just imagine
Hmm.
like you're walking in like these corridors and stuff like that, and you're able to like say if you had like bait or like a rat or something to distract the spider for a second so you can get
Yep.
away. That would be so dope. Like not a weapon to try to take them out, but something to give you a fighting chance because like
Yes.
when I see the spider at the end of the hallway, like what am I feel like, and then there's web behind me. I don't feel like I can progress. That was one of the
Hmm.
issues that I had. I wish
Hmm.
I don't have many. I'm telling you, like this is probably my top
Yeah.
five
No.
horror game of the year. Just and that's
Oh,
indie
thank
for
you.
sure, because it's just like I don't want the fact that I don't want to play it means that I love it. That's the best
Hmm.
compliment I can give. But I think that would be so sick, just being able to, because you do get trapped. Like, and I know you were watching. Like, I was in that security room. I had no way to get out,
Yep.
unless I
Yep.
died. And I feel like once you die, you have to start. I do like once you get the items, you get checkpoints. But being able to have a
Yep.
way to get the spider to give you a second to breathe would be a ideal situation. I think that would be dope for the game to have.
100%, and that is actually, yeah, that is already in development. I have you ever played Soma?
Yes, yes, I have.
So Soma allows you to pick up and throw, just items around the environment.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I really want to do that.
Okay, I like that idea.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's not like a resource that you need to manage or anything, but there's, just objects around because, that's probably what you would end up doing if you were in this situation, right? Like if
Mm-hmm.
I had a giant spider in front of me and I had a book next to me, I would try to throw the book not at the spider but away and try to get it away from me. Um, so yes, yes, I love that idea and that is something that is definitely going to be in the next one. I think there really doesn't need to be much added to this, I believe. I think just adding more content and really, you know, putting more work into the spider is gonna make this it's gonna make it a great sequel. So
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Like, I don't. The fact that you like the biggest thing you told me, like you wanted to make this game 4 or 5 hours, and I think you madman. Like, why would you ever want to do that to these to us human beings? Like, this game's already scary enough for an hour. You want to do another 4 hours? That's maniacal. Like, I love that idea, but
yeah,
I'm dreading knowing that there's gonna be more spiders. There's gonna be a larger map. They're gonna be crawling on the walls. Like, I don't know. I might have to have you. No, I'm gonna for sure have you on when it's fully finished and developed. I would love to get your feedback and just like see the true terror of what I'm gonna experience playing it. But it's
yeah.
all of it sounds exciting. I think that my favorite part of just the map is when you go into the laboratory. You see the spider in the tube, and that
Hmm.
is another version. I thought the spider was gonna burst out of that little tube, and
Yeah.
I kept looking at it. I was like, "Yo, I can't deal with this." Like, because just how unpredictable the spider was. You never
Yep.
know where it's gonna be. So I was like, okay, while I'm mixing this, my eye was on that tube because I was like, what if there's more? Because again, my mindset was there was multiple spiders in the game. It was never that there was
Hmm.
just one. So I'm like, okay,
Hmm.
I'm getting them chemicals, I'm doing all this stuff, but my eyes on the tube because I was ready to run at any point. Now, if you add that into
Yeah.
that, I'm gonna hate you moving forward for the rest of my life. Um,
It's
but
it's funny. I have a notepad here that I actually have that exact idea written down for a possibility. Glass breaks out of terrarium,
yeah,
and
no,
here
I
comes
think
the
I think
spider.
that's just
Um,
it's just something that just like I said, the unpredictability. There's so much you can do with this, and like, and I just felt like you're just touching, you just the tip of the iceberg. Like, I feel like you can delve
mhm.
so much deeper into this. Like, you can make this into a
Yep.
series of like, you're just in the laboratory, but you could definitely go in the wilderness, in the forest. Like, if the spiders break out,
Yep.
like, we could talk about this later. I could throw so many ideas, but I just love this
Yeah. Yeah.
concept of it. And do you think in the future you would make like more games with different, like maybe animals or bugs, or like you're gonna strictly stay in this repertoire, or you might just do something different? Like, what do you see
Yeah.
the next couple years of your gaming development?
Oh, that's a great question. Because so when I had released this, I kind of just forgot about it for a minute and just put it on itch, and I started thinking about my next idea, and it was kind of between like a platformer or a mobile game, and then I realized that people really like this, and so I do think the next couple of years of my development will really be more focused on making this a great game, really just trying my best with this.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to put my heart into this and show people what a great horror game this can really be. And to answer the question about other animals and stuff, I mean, I could, but the issue is that I, like I said, I personally have a crippling fear of spiders, and I know what makes them scary. At least for me personally, and I'm sure it's shared basically
The spider
between
could go up
everybody
the
who's scared of
stairs.
spiders. Yeah,
What the? I'm sorry.
No, totally. That always catches people off guard.
I thought the stairs was a safe spot.
Yeah, sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't. You just never know. It's that unpredictability.
Sorry, you saying like just different animals and different insects.
Yeah, like people are asking, make one with snakes or make one, but I don't know what makes snakes so scary. Because I'm personally not afraid of them. I don't know what makes a scorpion scary or well, I mean, I am afraid of scorpions too, but I just feel like my expertise lies in spiders, honestly. Okay. Which is funny because it's like I'm so afraid of them, but it's like, know your enemy, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I'll watch a documentary on spiders just because I'm so afraid of them, and I'm like,
but you make a
game to get over that fear?
Where you have to develop a spider for hours and hours. For 4 months, you've been working on your biggest one of your fears. I think, hey man, I don't know if I could do that, but shout out to you because I can't do that. Like,
no, it was tough. It was because, like I said, I scared myself so many times, and it was a great experience though.
For sure. I would think it would be so. I don't know why I have so many ideas, but another thing would be so dope. This might not be something you don't even think about, but how there's been a trend of a lot of games being like multiplayer, like repo and all that. I would be so sick like if you could do spider with friends. Like I don't know, like one of your friends gets like webbed from the spider and you have to get this guy, get them out. Like this, so like that's what I'm saying. Like you really have something unique and genuine here, and I feel like you can go so many different avenues with this. That's why again I'm so honored to have you be on Whispers, just because like I'm excited to see what you do next year, in 2 years, in 3 years, just because like you could go with so many avenues. And because the spider, a lot of people are afraid of spiders and not a lot of people know about it, like, which is wild because I feel like the arachnophobia is one of the biggest fears that a lot of people have, and the fact that there's not a lot of games that depict that shows that you have something here. So like I said, we've been talking for 55 minutes and I threw 8 ideas at you. It's just like, because like I'm just thinking like, okay, if I see a spider right now, like how would I feel? And I can just imagine like your thought process of like the last 4 months of like, okay, I have this spider in this laboratory. What would make this terrifying? I have a couple more questions because we're almost wrapping up. We're almost an hour, but I noticed that there's not really much sound in the game other than like the vents and everything. It was that, which I think makes it even scarier because you can't hear, like there's nothing. Did you do that on purpose or is there a reason for that?
Yeah, no, I think sound design is very important in horror, right? Even outside of games and movies, the score really adds to it. Just the sound effects of everything can really add to horror. And I really wanted it to be quiet. I wanted there to be some ambient noise with the vents, but other than that, I wanted you to really hear the taps from the spider's feet. And I think that, was a good call because just hearing it, you don't even need to see the spider. Just hearing it, tip tap on the floor at a fast speed is incredibly terrifying.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Even more so when you can't see it, right? Because it's like around the corner, you hear the footsteps, and you're like, oh my god, is it running at me right now?
Even seeing it from
Yeah, so
such a
that.
distance is scary. Oh, man. No, I definitely
Yeah,
agree
no,
with you.
so the sound, yeah, that was intentional. I think, um, it could go either way, right? A lot of noise can be scary, or no noise at all can really add to the just the overall feel of where the environment and everything. And I really, yeah, I wanted to lean into the sound effects that the spider makes to make it more horrifying. Um, so that's why I went with kind of no music or anything, or no other sound effects really other than the vents. And even those are too loud in my opinion. So yeah,
Yeah, no, for sure. So, I have one more question. Well, yeah, about one more question. So
okay.
one of the questions I'd love to ask is just like, if I ran into you into the street, like just randomly, and I just happened to know you were a game developer, what advice would you give for a person that is interested to get into game development? And like, what would you tell me? Like I said, if I said I wanted to be, do what you do.
Yeah. I would tell you it's going to take a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
There was a time for about a year and a half, 2 years where I really had to buckle down and sit and a lot of people want to make games, but they don't want to spend the 8 hours sitting in front of the computer in the engine, figuring out one bug. And it
Mm-hmm.
really takes a lot of persistence and tenacity, in my opinion, to really sit down and complete an entire game because nobody realizes just how many hours go into that. So, I would tell people that, if this truly is what you want to do, be ready to work for it. Be ready to sit down. You can't play video games while you make video games. You really need to, it's just like learning really anything. You need to take the time and, master it and put the hours in. And in this case, it's a lot more hours than usual. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean that's kind of the advice I give is be ready for it to take time. It's not going to be something that I said it only took me 4 months to make this game, but that's because I've made others, right?
Yeah.
I took 2 years to make an RPG. I took several months to start a prototype for a mobile, and I got myself to the position where I could realistically make a game within a couple months. Because now I know how the engine works. I know I can foresee issues that are coming. It just makes a world of a difference, and I've just seen many aspiring game developers kind of just I don't know, well, just not put the work in. You got to get an engine. You got to just make stuff. You just have to make stuff over and over again. And it's
Yeah.
just like anything else. You'll get better at it.
Yeah. It's a famous saying. Not everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody's ready to die to get there. Like, and it's like you're
Yep.
right.
Yep.
Like, if you're not willing to put in the hard work, the dedication, like everything's not gonna be given to you. Like, you can't make a game if you don't know, if you're not gonna willing to go through the trial and errors and the bugs and fixing it and then updating it. Like, it takes hours and hours and hours. Like,
Yep.
like like you said, it took you 4 months, but how many hours a day you probably put into this game and worked on it?
A
It's
lot.
just people will never understand that, and that's kind of why I created Whispers of Horror, was to
hmm
give a name. Like, so obviously people know the name of the developer or the team or whatever, but the reason why I created was to give more purpose to that person, like to know like what's the ins and out of making a game, and what are some of the like things to make you more of a person just besides your name, you know, like
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah.
that's why I did it, and I just so people can understand like it's not all sunshine and rainbows. You guys go through so much making these games, and 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 for people, for you, like for your game to be successful and just that means a lot to you. This is your product. This is your art. So the fact that you're displaying it for all of us to enjoy is a beautiful thing, and I'm happy that you chose me to be able to be another platform that people can hear it from.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you having me, and I appreciate everything you've said about the game, and it really means a lot to me. And back to what you were saying before, you're throwing ideas out there. I love it, and if you ever want to reach out to me anytime with any idea, I'd love to hear it. So
A
it's
hundred
things like that
percent.
that make games, better.
Yeah.
I love interacting with people. Yeah, like you said, it's such a great feeling seeing people enjoy something I made, like the art, that is art, and it just, with how tough it is with the industry right now,
Hmm.
it's really nice to know that I was able to make something that people enjoy because, think about just all the great games out there, right? Like
Yeah.
there's just so many, and the fact that people took time out of their day to play mine, it's just I couldn't appreciate it anymore.
Yeah.
It
For
just yeah,
sure.
means the world to me.
Yeah, I say the same thing. Like, I usually say like there's 86,400 seconds in the whole day, which is actually true. And the fact that anybody
Hmm.
wants to take time out of the day to watch me talk about video games, or like you took time out of your day to be on my podcast, like that means more than anything somebody can give me. The best thing somebody can give you is their time. And I
Yeah,
think
yep.
that's truly amazing. And while I still have you here, I got another idea for you. Like I'm telling you, it's just coming off the dome. Like I don't know, maybe I got
Let's
spiders in my
hear
head.
it.
It would be so dope if you had like if one of the spiders had like a whole nest of baby eggs on the back of them, and
Hmm.
say
Hmm.
if they spawn like if they burst and they just started crawling on you, like oh my god, like I gotta stop.
Yep,
I
yep.
gotta stop. But that would be
No,
so
that
dope.
is
That would be
that's in
so
the
dope.
drawing boards. That is, yeah, it's funny because every idea that you have is really something that is most likely being implemented in the sequels. So,
Well, then I
um,
got a lot of things to not play because like for me, I
yeah, no,
can't play in the dark. I have to have all these lights in my room because I just can't do it. Like I'm not scared of
yeah,
anything in person, but when it comes to like horror movies and horror games, like I buckle down. I swear to God, in this game right here,
yeah.
it definitely does it to me. But listen, if you like when you're developing it, I will definitely hit you up, and I think I'm so excited to see what you have moving forward. But while we
Yeah,
are
I would
wrapping
love
up,
to.
okay, sorry.
I was just gonna say I'd love to send you like a Steam key or something when it is done. If you would like that. So,
Oh, 100%,
um,
100%. Like I would,
okay, all right.
I played hours and hours of this game, and the fact that I can play more hours of this game, I'm happy but sad at the same time. So thank you, and
Yeah,
I
right.
appreciate it and not appreciate it at the same time. But while we are wrapping up, is there anything else you would like to tell anybody about anything? Basically the floor is yours.
Um, not just look forward to, the game I'm gonna be putting out next, the sequel. I'm gonna try to keep people updated as much as possible. Yeah, that's really it. I mean, thank you all, everyone who has played this game, anyone who's watching this right now or has watched a playthrough. I really appreciate it. I just want to say thank you. And this is what I'm doing this for. So, um, if anyone you has any ideas, any feedback to give me, please, I'd love to hear it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I just gave you an hour, a little bit. I got so many more ideas. I guess I hate spiders that much. I don't know what it is, but Jory, listen, I just want to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for taking time out of your night to join me on this journey of talking about Huntsman. I think you have I think you really I truly mean it, you have hit the tip of the iceberg, and I feel like you have so many avenues you can go, and I feel like this game is gonna be talked about for years to come, honestly, because like I even brought up to you, like this game, just this, and like the when you first dropped it, and just last month have I've seen millions and millions of views of people watching streamers play this. So like that's a beautiful thing. So you like people are excited about
Oh,
this,
it's amazing.
and it just brings more downloads to this. So I just want to tell everybody, go download Huntsman. It's on itch.io, and it will be in the descriptions of the video. And just go show support, when this game comes out in Steam or just any other platform. Just go show support, go show some love and support to Jory, And like I said, I appreciate you, and I can't wait to have you on future episodes when you do make the sequel of this game.
Yeah, I would love to be here. Thank you so much for having me, and yeah, I really appreciate it, and can't wait. I can't wait to come back.
Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is episode 42 of Whispers of Horror. Until next time, thank you for watching.